All right, all right, all right. We are back live from the Living Room Podcast. Got a repeat guest on. Got Rob in the building.
Yes, sir.
And it's funny. We always start talking off camera, and it leads into just so many different conversations. And we end up talking about the Turk interview. So what's the last thing you said he did?
I saw a clip of saying that he was talking about discussing cheating on his baby's mother while he was in prison.
Yeah.
He wouldn't say whether or not it was a male or a female.
Word. So which one? Oh, you good. I got you. I just directed at you. So which one you think it was? You think that's a mission by?
My thing is you got to look at the history of the things that them guys were kind of into,
When you say them guys, you mean Cash Money?
I mean Cash Money. Yes, Cash Money. Baby just had some wild stuff on stage, and the picture of him kissing Wayne, it was like, okay, you guys kind of got some little.
There's video of him doing it too.
Yeah. Video too. Matter of fact, they did it on BET on the basement.
Yep. Rap City. It was Rap City. Yeah.
Rap City.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I think it was a guy. Because most times a dude not gonna say, it wasn't a female. So.
Well, with that being said, do you think it's a problem because no one has a problem if a person is not say cheating, but gay.
Right.
Right?
No.
I think the problem comes with the black community, the relationship with the black community, specifically with the black gay community.
Right.
And then people hiding behind this tough exterior and having a secret life. Right. Which also another line that we need to talk about as well, because you can be hard and be gay.
You can.
Yeah.
You can.
So I think the scandalism of that is what the scandal of it, of not being caught in a lie or being caught between I guess the subtext of your words is the most scandalous part of it.
Absolutely.
So that's how I feel about it.
See, my thing about it, I think the biggest issue is people not living the truth. I mean, be honest with yourself. Like, a lot of guys use their body count, with females to cover up who they really are or what they're really into. You know what I mean? And
True.
The issue is they start double dipping, and going back and forth. And it's like, in this day and age, the modern age, some women will be fine with a guy, who into other guys and be with.
What's funny? Well, I don't know. It might be the very small list of women I've talked to, or maybe I need a larger sample size of women to have this conversation with. But all the women I've talked to, they will deal with another woman not even that. We're talking about men. They said they'll deal with a woman that has other women, but they were not dealing with a man that deals with man and comes back and forth between the two.
Right.
And what's kind of awkward with that is we find ourselves admitting to the double standards.
Exactly.
Of what men have and what women have, and then what women have against other women versus men have other men.
Absolutely.
Like, so a man can deal with a woman that's bisexual, but a lot of women I've talked to will say they won't deal with a man that's bisexual.
Right.
But but also what I've learned too, in having all these different conversations with people, it really depends on how you ask the question. Because say for instance, ask a woman, like, do you think a man can be bisexual and function in both relationships with either a man or woman? Oh, yeah, to each his own, long as they don't do, long as they don't anybody get hurt, they can do what they want. Would you deal with a man that's bisexual? See, what I ain't finna do, and then, what I'm saying?
Right, see, just rephrase the question,
yep.
It's to get a different answer. So from what I see is guys, like, it's a double standard. It's all gonna be a double standard with women and men.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that's just how it is. We're just based off our physiology, the way we think, the way we behave. It's gonna always be double standards. But the thing about it is, it's more acceptable and from a societal aspect for a man to be able to do that. Now,
to be bisexual or be promiscuous with women?
To be promiscuous with women.
Okay.
It's understood. Man, it's so much so that women somewhat desire a man who has been promiscuous. They want to give you the guy, you know.
Secretly, I think they'll say that to themselves, but they won't say that outwardly. Well, you have a lot more women that will say that outwardly now because we live in an age of trying to go viral. Right. But even with that being said, they are framing it in such a way. They're like, nobody wants a person that no one else wants. That's what they say. But what they're really saying, like, I don't want you unless you ain't got your body count up or you ain't got the proper amount of experience. But at the same time, with that is, it all goes back to how you frame the question, how you frame the statement, and how you make sense of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm sorry. Go ahead. Did you finish your point?
No, I mean, well, yeah, basically I finished the point already.
Another thing that we were sending each other stories back and forth. The pictures of the little girls online. For proper context, a friend of mine sent me some pictures of two little girls, cute little girls, and they were, I want to say they were in like a gas station or just like someone that took photos of them. There's two little girls. They probably, I would say, what do you think, like 3, 4?
Yeah,
maybe
well,
3 or 4.
About like 5 or 6 years old. Looks like to me.
Okay, I don't know, because babies are babies to me. That's how I see it. But they were little girls and they were dressed, would you say, like adults?
Yeah, like adults.
Like adults, or teenage girls trying to look more mature for their age.
Right. Use that.
Okay. So basically, they were staged and they had these little crop tops on, and then they had the shirt rolled up and tied up to further expose their bellies. And I know kids have their bellies out all the time, and you shouldn't sexualize kids, and I wasn't sexualizing them, but I felt like the person that staged them in such a way they were calling for people to view them in such a way, or it could be construed in such a way. And in an age of sex trafficking, and all this talk about black women need to be protected, I just think that was highly irresponsible. Now, did you go to the ladies' page or the girls' page to see the content?
I went to the page. I look at the content, but when I clicked on it, the first thing I noticed was the comments were turned off.
Right.
That's a telltale sign to me that
that you know,
that you know that it's an issue with this, or you know that not everyone agrees with it. You know, because in this social media age, people want an echo chamber. They want everyone to agree with them, so you know they feel better about what they're doing.
Right.
You know, and they turn the comments off when it's something that's not. Something that they feel
criticism.
Yeah, the criticism basically. I didn't agree with it. I think it was over the top. It's making, like I said, it makes it harder for children to stay in a child's place when you try to treat them like adults.
And also the other pictures in the slide, they were posing like what I would see. Well, I would say what you would see in cover art for Meg Thee Stallion featuring Cardi B.
Right.
Did look like that. If you add 20 years onto them, that's what they would look like.
Absolutely.
And that's for me, like, I don't even have children, but you have a daughter.
I do.
But so I guess it activated your like I ain't going for that.
No, I would not go for that.
Yeah.
Period. Like, and it's, I think it has a lot to do with the modern parent, like the parent of this day and age. I would never allow my child to wear something like that. But I was raised, you know, had my grandmother, my great grandmother, you know, people who are around like had some type of tradition, you know, and it was like I said about.
I think that changes house to house though.
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, and it always have been people who have been, you know, type of it, but the fact that it's now been celebrated. That's the issue. It's been celebrated. It's been encouraged in a way.
With that being said, you're talking about the body positivity and women taking their sexuality back, right? I think there's a fine line between body positivity and over the top, and we're kind of find ourselves in these gray areas where it's like some people say yes and then some people say no. And I actually sent that photo to a few different homegirls of mine, and I got various responses. I had a few women tell me, "Oh hell no, they mama need to be dragged. They don't need to be out there looking like that." And this, that, and third. Now, I like I said, I like to get in conversation with people who don't agree with me, so I can understand why. Maybe I'm missing something. See another perspective. The other homegirl, she's like, "Now, would you feel the same way with those two little boys?" I said, "What would you put on little boys that make them look more adult?" Because the first thing I came to mind with was a suit or like maybe some suspenders or something like that to make them look corporate. And if you go like more street urban, you say some jeans and a beater on, right?
Right.
Even with that, it's not sexualizing them.
It's not.
But I said if you put little boys in the same position in which it would generate an idea of like looking at them and say that looks wrong to me because they look sexualized, I would have the same amount of emotion as I would about these little girls.
Absolutely.
And that's where we had our little back and forth. It wasn't an argument. It was just like a tiff or exchange of philosophies, and this is why I think it's right and this is why I don't think it's right. And I think with her, she's in the entertainment industry, so she sees more of the dance community. If you go to like dance community situations, you see people dance like say for instance a woman in a volleyball in a context. A girl in a volleyball outfit while she's playing volleyball doesn't look sexualized unless you sexualize it in your mind as a man or if whatever woman you're into, right? Same thing with there's a black girl that got she set some people off because they said her outfit was too revealing. She had the same outfit on everyone else on her team had, but she had a more mature body, and that's where it comes back to like, okay, you put the same dress on a white woman, or not even just a white woman. You put the same dress on one woman, you put the same dress on another woman, and based on the type of how a woman's built, it's going to give two different images that conjure up in your mind.
Absolutely,
and that's really what it speaks to. But what we were talking about little girls. They have no shape. They have no development. You styled their hair that way. You posed them that way, and you put these clothes on them, and it made them look that way. That was my problem.
Right, absolutely.
And that's where we were going back and forth with, because it's like I went to the page and I saw other pictures of them, totally fine with it, and they look more mature. Like as far as like something you would see on more women, like how they get their edges laid and stuff like that, and type of hairstyles. I had no problem with the hairstyles. We're going back to the sexualization of the little girls. Yeah. And that's where my problem was at.
Yeah, see, and that's like my whole issue is like, don't rush the kids to grow up. Like we want them to stay children as long as they can, because the world it's not all peaches and cream. You know, and we're kind of like, they're trying to give like them this little fantasy almost. And that's just not how it works. We have to make sure that these kids, you know, enjoy childhood. Don't rush them, like, because next thing you know, okay, say, you know, go 5 years down the line, you know, these little girls, you know, like are teenagers now. They've been getting treated like, you know, young adults. They're gonna behave like young adults. I'm like, okay, you can't, you know, tell me what to do or how to dress or whatever. What if they do want to start dressing real skimpy, like go out and want to wear something that's sheer that you can just see totally through? But they're children. You know, they're children, and it's a possibility. You know, we may think it's, you know, for an adult, okay, even if it is revealing, okay, you're an adult, you can do that. But the child, no. But you have to treat them like children. You know, but also don't downplay their intelligence. You know, don't like baby them, let them know, okay, because these kids are intelligent. They are very intelligent, more so than I think we were coming up. Yeah. You know, because you can have actual conversations with them. But at the same time, like, don't rush. You want to spoon feed them this. You know, spoon feed them, talk to them about things. But like I said,
let them maintain their innocence.
Their innocence, and it's like I said, it's going away. A child's place is receding. It has been receding for some time now, and now we have the elders who are kind of there. They're kind of being conditioned to be okay with it. You know,
it kind of goes back to the conversation we were having off camera about learning different lifestyles and what we're right about, what we're wrong about, and then finding our existence in this ever-changing world. That seems to be where we get caught up in, and I think the elders are no different. And it honestly is even more problematic for them, because you don't teach old dog new tricks necessarily, but just now it's like, hey, old dog, if you're gonna exist in this world, either you gotta go in the house, or you gotta no one's gonna find you, or you gotta, if you're gonna exist outside, you have to adapt to the situations that we have, like they've evolved into.
I mean, see, that's a fine line, because like, do we necessarily have to adapt? Like, is it healthy for us to adapt to everything that's new? Like, okay, with the whole
you see the birth certificates?
I just about to say, birth certificate.
Okay,
birth certificate was like, okay, it's been changed over the years. Now they want to make it neutral, like where the parent can decide whether or not the child is going to be considered a boy or a girl. My thing is, I mean, you're going against the biology of the child. You know, you don't. I mean, who are you to say this? And you're kind of, in a way, to me, it's almost like psychological abuse, because the child does not know. You know, everything is learned behavior. Yeah. Like, it's learned behavior. Like racism, it's learned behavior. Yeah. People think, oh, this black and white stuff. You know, look, you've seen kids play on the playground before.
Yeah, they don't know race.
They don't know
until
at
they
all.
start asking questions. Mommy, why does my hair look like this? Why does his hair
Right.
look like this? They just see a friend, a fellow kid, and someone to play with, and like let's do
That's
stuff
it.
with.
That's
And
it.
everything else kind of evolves as we get older, or they're
Absolutely.
taught it at the household. Now you bring sexuality into it. Now you have the situation where they're dressing different, or you putting boys in more feminine clothing, or girls in more masculine clothing.
I think it's more so the other way around. Though. I think it's a
boys-
push. I think it's more of a push to have like trans women instead of trans men for some reason. Like with you seen the emoji they're trying to put out with the pregnant man and whatnot.
I have not seen that.
Pregnant man emoji. Yeah, they're trying to do. It's like trying to make it seem like boys can have.
I
Periods.
can have fun with that because I'm petty.
Right. Yeah.
Just having a fool, baby.
Right. So like you could do that.
Yeah.
But at the same time though, like I said, to a child, how they gonna interpret that?
Right.
You know, to a child, like, I can be a girl. Like, no, son, you can't be a girl. You can want to be a girl, but at the end of the day, you can't get rid of your testosterone. Like, you can't get rid of your male anatomy. I mean, no matter how many reconstructive surgeries you have, you're still going to be biologically a male. That's just a fact. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. But we're like in this digital age, we're trying to like, in a way, rewrite history, rewrite reality in a sense. And it's unfortunate. That's why I think that the whole with the whole the pandemic, the COVID thing, it's targeting older people because the older people, they know how things were. They know how things used to be. Like that's what the history. That's what the history is.
Conspiracy theory right there.
It is conspiracy, but it makes sense to think about.
No, it does. When you lose an old person, you lose a library.
How do you reset a society? You have to kill off
the old.
Yeah, you kill off the old and you have the young.
Yeah.
The young minds are impressionable. That's how you reset a society, and that's what it is.
Yep.
So I mean, I'm just looking at it from like a macroscopic view. People look at it like on the ground level. Like, no, I'm looking at it from the bigger picture. And then at the end of the day, these kids, they are our future. And if you can control the kids, you can control the future.
Well, how soon is too soon to identify what you want to be for the rest of your life? For instance, I don't want to bash Dwayne Wade,
okay,
but that's the most prominent, famous case.
Agreed.
And it goes back to the conversation we were talking about with the birth certificate, right?
Right.
Is it the parent making the decision, or is it the kid making the decision? If the kid makes a decision, what do you do as a parent? Because it's kind of, I'm asking two different questions here. Because if you have a kid, I'm looking at my newborn boy, and I don't know if my son's gonna be gay, non-binary going forward, but I just see my son, but I'm thinking for his future, and I mark X on the and then this is like someone that's forward thinking in that sense. I mark X on the gender.
Right.
Do you think I'm doing the right thing by him by being open-minded for what he or she may think of in the future of themselves? Or do you think I'm being irresponsible?
I think you're being irresponsible as a parent because at the end of the day, there are things that. Okay, first of all, we know that the hippocampus isn't fully developed until you're 25. So you literally can't do certain things because you're not mature enough. Like a child can't drive. A child can't drive at 9 years old because they just want to drive.
Yeah.
Or they can't go smoke cigarettes. And now you're not gonna sell them a cigarette because they underage. You're not gonna give them a beer because they're underage. So why would you let them make a life-changing decision at a certain age? Like they haven't fully grasped reality yet. They're still looking at it from a child's point of view. And what the media doesn't like to talk about is the people who are depressed after they made these decisions.
I think we don't have enough research there, and that's kind of. And that's the most interesting part of what we're experiencing when it comes to different people and all these different lifestyles and different choices in these blended families, modernized families,
right,
is when we talk about families from the 60s and 70s and 80s, we have all this data between all these different families, people that had abusive fathers, non-existent fathers, same thing with mothers, non-existent mothers, being raised by grandparents, same-sex households.
This is true.
This is becoming more, we have more data to generate, the different patterns. We don't have enough data there yet to say it's going to be a success or a failure, but well, we're just basically like, I guess in your sense, you would be saying, yeah, I'm using common sense and projecting like this is gonna mess up this kid. And if you tell me I have to study to be in this field, like I have to study to be a scientist when I want to be I want to play the cello, but you make me do 20 years of research to be a scientist, and I don't have enough courage to go against what my family said, or because I feel like I'm dishonoring my family, and I in my heart I want to play the cello,
Right.
and I'm gonna be suffering from depression and also the conflict of going against my family.
This is true.
And it's really no different when you talk about that. But that right there, you're talking about giving kids hormones, sex changes. How young is too young?
I think honestly, like I said, I think anything under 18. Like once a child gets 18, you can talk about it, prepare them for it during those years. You want to let, if your child say, hey, you have a son, like he say, and your son say, Dad, I don't feel right. Like, I don't feel right being a guy, or I don't think I was supposed to be born a guy or a male. Like, hey, well, depending on how you feel as a parent, I mean, it's your decision. But what I would suggest is you let your child get informed on what they want to do or what they're trying to do or the perspectives. Like, inform yourself as much as you can, because once you cut off your member, like, that's it. Like, I mean, you can't go back to doing that. You know, and then say like they say a child is 13 years old, and you know, and you as a parent, like, you want your child to be happy and everything, and you know, you want them to be successful in life. So you feel like this is gonna help them be more comfortable with themselves. All right, then you get them how to look at the surgery or whatever. So after that, what if they come back and say, you know, at 19, 20 years old or 21 years old, like, Dad, why'd you let me do that?
Right,
like, I regret it. Like, why'd you let me do that? Like, it was you were the adult. You should have told me no. But like, well, child, I want you to be happy. That's why I said it's always gonna fall back on the parent. I like it until like letting your child eat sweets all day. Yeah, the sweets are gonna make them happy. You know, like eating cookies and candy is gonna make them happy. It makes them feel good, but is it good for them? No. And you as an adult know that.
Or the conversation we were having about you having a daughter and deciding, well, thinking you're doing right by giving her birth control, and then you actually might make her sterile if you choose the wrong one later in life, and she comes to you at 24, 25, and she's upset about what you did when she was 15. That's, I mean, we don't have a playbook for all this.
We don't. It's all new. Like, with social media, it's really changed the world. It changed the way people parent. It changed I mean, it even goes up to the government. Like, it's so much power in social media.
They can regulate, what they should regulate.
Yeah, exactly. Public opinion. Public opinion is everything. I mean, we literally can get laws changed based on how people feel about something.
That's what's happening.
Exactly. It comes down to people's feelings. Now,
who has the best marketing?
Yeah, exactly. How can you market it?
And honestly, to me, it's like the LGBTQ plus community has the best marketing. They have the best. The best infrastructure as far as getting things done, because honestly, Black people, we fail behind in so many different ways. But it can't just be marketing. It's also there's a system at play.
Yeah, I think we're disorganized.
Absolutely,
and we have been. And also, to me, I think the biggest problem. See, the media makes it seem like the biggest problem in America is racism. It's not racism. No, racism is what they use to make people fight against each other on the bottom. Classism is our biggest problem. Because you go to the top, man, the people who really making the money, racism is not a thing to them. You know, it's not like, because they all got money. They live in a certain bubble. You know, where like they're just so disengaged, so removed from it, like in the Kanye West. Kanye West used to be like that guy, like he was like the backpack rapper. You know what I mean? The things, the lyrics.
Just talking about that yesterday.
Back in the day, you know, he was for the people. Yeah. You know, now he gets to this point right now. He's an oppressed billionaire. You're an oppressed billionaire. How? Yeah. You know, it's just not going to resonate. Like for the people you from Chi-Town, bro. Yeah. Like people are like, dude, you made it. And you're complaining about, I need $1 billion. Like, what? It's people who don't even have, they're just trying to get $10. They're trying to get $10 to even feed their family for the day. Right. And you're complaining that you didn't get some millions. It's like, dude, you're so removed from reality that it's a shame. And like I said, I think our biggest problem is us. We're disorganized. And also, we got too many sellouts. The people who we idolize and we put on the pedestals, those are the ones who, like, I think are kind of continuing this downward slope that we have, because the greatest power is influence. First and foremost, you can influence people. You can do whatever you want. Like that's just what it is, influence.
Yep.
And I didn't come up with that. Star came up with that. So I Star, even though he'll do shout outs. But he said that, and it made so much sense because I mean, you have the power. Like you can influence people to do things that you want them to do.
Yeah.
So are you going to influence them for good or for bad? If you're a billionaire or if you brag about money all the time, why would you try to help your people get money? Why would you try to put infrastructures in place to help that? And okay, somebody will say, "Oh, it's on you to do that. It's on you to save yourself or whatever." My thing is, okay, why are we continuously giving our money to people who just basically are repackaging our trauma and selling it back to us? Like, you make your music based off the struggle.
It's a toxic relationship.
It's very toxic, and it's a cycle. Yeah. And I was thinking about like, damn, where do we go wrong as a people? Like, where do we go wrong? And honestly, if I can pinpoint in time, it had to be the black exploitation movement. Like when that started,
60s, 70s?
Yeah, the 70s. The Superfly, when we volunteered to be portrayed as junkies and pimps and whores, like that's when like the pendulum kind of swung. That's when we started doing it to ourselves. Because the kids started thinking, oh, shit, I want to be a pimp. Bro, the pimp was the guy back in the day. You know what I mean? Like the pimp was the one, like, okay, he was dressed fly. Yeah. You know what I mean? He had all the ladies, pretty ladies around him. He had the nice car and all this stuff, nice house. So the kid's like, shit, I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to be this guy. You know what I mean? I want people to like me because the pimp was like, and then we get to like, okay, the hip hop movement. Now hip hop, it started, as a culture.
The heroes are drug dealers and pimps.
Right. It started as a culture because I'm not going to lie, hip-hop was fueled by the drug trade. Like, those people who have those big parties back in the day, man, come on, we always, like, was short on funds. And drug money kind of funded all the stuff back in the day. Even like, look at Harry O. Harry O gave Suge the money for Death Row. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, it's a fact that that the drug trade, that was one of our first forms of entrepreneurship. Yeah, and like that's just what it is, and we made it work. But think about it, we just kind of let it go too far. And the reason I think that was to teach it because, like I said, hip hop used to be a culture. Now it's an art form. Culture has like certain parameters, certain guidelines, certain expectations. It's a culture. Yeah. You know what I mean? But now it's art. You can make it whatever you want. You know what I mean? You can just say whatever you want, and nobody is gonna really can come at you and say, "Oh, you're wrong" or whatever, because it's art. It's whatever you want it to be. Yeah. And if people buy it, then that's them. Yeah. But so you have to be more responsible. And I understand that these artists say that, okay, I'm not a hero, I'm not a role model, but dude, once you get to a certain level, you have to be. Whether you want to or not. Yep. Whether you want to or not. You look at it. Look at
if you have the influence. You have to be aware of your microphone.
Absolutely. I was looking at. I saw a meme. It was of a poster in a school, seeming to be like a school, like elementary school, something. It was of Cardi B. It was of Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion. Okay. And it was a caption of her saying like, "Don't." It was based off COVID. It was like, "Don't let COVID touch that little dangly thing in the back of your throat." I'm like, okay.
I'm sorry, it's funny,
bro. But it's also like, dude, come on, bro.
That's funny. I would not as an adult, it's funny.
Yeah. But say as a kid, like, dude.
Now what's that thingly thing?
Yeah, right.
And then you got to reference a song. And then we have to Google. Now you got the streams going up, and now they're listening to that. And,
dude, the kids are the ones who are pushing these artists. The kids.
And then next thing you know, you're taking a photo shoot in a gas station with comments turned off.
Exactly. I mean, it's a cycle, you know, and so we have to. Yeah, we have to pay attention to these things, man. We can't keep on shooting ourselves in the foot. Then we're going to complain about, look, I understand like protect black women. Yes, I understand that. But at the same time, though, man, we can't make it seem like all black women are innocent and believe all women. That's so dangerous to say believe all women because women set people up too. Hell, women set other women up, and women know this. You talk to a woman like I haven't seen a woman talk about this other than Shahrazad Ali, but. You know, women know that women can be trifling. Even like coming up, like my stepmom told me that she said she didn't trust women because women can be low down, cunning, manipulative people. Yeah, I understand that. You know, like they liken it. You ever seen a snake with its mouth open? Yeah. What does it look like?
Wow.
Yeah, look. I mean, it's. Look,
it's be doing the science.
It's a nuanced conversation, bro. But my thing is, we have to be more accountable. We have to hold each other accountable, and we have this black privilege. We have this black privilege in our community that we can do things to one another, but no one can do anything to us. Like, oh,
I think that's a family privilege, though. I think that's because we take it like I could talk about my people and my family, but the moment that someone outside our household take offense with the same thing, oh, that's my cousin, that's my brother, that's my sister. Like, nah, we can make fun of it. I think we just carry what we learn in our household and carry in our community as a mass.
We do.
You think that's accurate?
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's a sort of tribalism in a way. Yeah, like we're very tribal people. Yeah. But at the same time, though, I mean, we got wolves in the tribe. You know who are we do. You know what I mean? But we pedestalize them. You know, because we like them and everything. And it's all about likes. It's all about okay, this person can do whatever.
Likes or money are basically moving the same needle at this point in time, and some people don't know the difference.
Oh man, when it comes down to money, bro, I'm gonna say, oh, I don't care, bro. He got the bag. He got money. Like, you broke.
That's what I'm saying. That it's hard. That's where it goes back to. You have to be aware of your microphone because if you have the money, you have the influence, and then it's hard to have a poor person, a person that has less than you, say anything about the contrast what you're saying. You could say 2 + 2 is 4, and they could say, man, it's 5 over here, and everybody behind you would say it must be 5 because they got something extra we don't, because they obviously know something we don't, because they have success that we don't have,
right? And
we just weigh everything that they say more heavily
based off the money that they have, based off like the perception of them. It's like I said, we've been programmed successfully. We've been successfully programmed by the system. I don't know how we're going to get out of it because we just still doing it over and over again to no avail. We try to teach people history, even little stuff that we do right now.
Arguments. I think arguments, really. I think arguments. And one thing I will say that happened during the COVID lockdown, the way people mobilized over George Floyd. It was also people in a house. Huh?
I said we dropped the ball with that.
Yeah, I mean, but it's funny you say drop the ball. But I remember Kyrie was talking about not playing because it's going to shift attention away from it of everybody being in the movement because we had nothing else to focus on.
Right, I respected that.
Right, and as much as I love sports, they had a point. They had a point. And would you blame the premier talent in the NBA for saying I want to go back and play?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, okay, you guys put on these shirts and pose and fists and all that stuff. Yeah, that's cool. But if you don't put those things above like playing, bro, y'all already, all of y'all are millionaires, all of y'all in the 1%. For you to make it to the NBA period, you're a part of the 1%. You're privileged already. You have life-changing money. Even on a rookie contract, you have life-changing money. Yeah. So at the end of the day, what's more important? If y'all could have mobilized, like, look, we're not gonna play at all until we get this resolved, until we get some laws changed. Look at the Asian hate bill, bro. Look at how they got that.
They got it so quickly.
So quickly. Why? Because they're organized. They get together. Asian people barely even vote. And they're that too, but we have money too. Yeah. But the thing about it is we brag about spending our money. Yeah. We are the biggest consumers, but we brag about spending instead of actually making money. Now, that's our biggest issue. Like, there's no power in spending. You spend all your money, like I remember a couple of years ago, they said, oh, the black spending limit has hit like 1.5 trillion. Okay, whoop the wop. Yeah, but I mean, literally know like the white spending limit is like 100 trillion. You know what I mean? So yeah, we have money, but the thing about it is we are the most influential culture. We gave America its swag, man. Like it's so many black inventors, I mean, musicians, all that stuff. We have revolutionized everything about America, but at the same time, though, we're also pawns. Where we get used as pawns, and we get these big time people like the LeBron Jameses and
James.
Yeah, like we get like LeBron James, the Jay-Z's and whatnot. Yeah, look, I'm not. They're very very talented. They're generational talents, yes. But dude, y'all not doing enough. I don't think you're doing enough at all. You have more influence than most people will ever have. Those are our leaders in our communities. Our leaders are not doctors and lawyers and physicians. No, they're rappers and athletes. That's who the kids want to be. The kids can call out so many athletes' names, be asking who's Ben Carson. They probably wouldn't even know. Look, I don't agree with Ben Carson's views, but he was the first person to dissect Siamese twins. Like on the brain. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Like come on, generational. But Kids don't know him. They don't even care. Like, you're not interested. Like, you're just a doctor. Whatever.
I mean,
look, I want to be this
he
guy.
ain't got swagger. He ain't got bars or bitches.
Come on, exactly. He ain't got bars and bitches, right? Now I want bottles. I want bitches. You know what I mean? So it's like you gotta kind of give them what they want. You got to add a little sugar in with the nutrients. You know what I mean? At the same time, because you're gonna lose the kids. Yeah. And like I said, when I try to talk to people about it, especially black people, who just shut down. Like we have a really bad habit of shutting down. We can't have open dialogue. Look, we can agree to disagree, but just say, "Oh, I ain't talking." Like, how you gonna communicate?
I just had an argument. Well, I wouldn't kill all an argument because it takes two people to argue.
It does.
But it's not. I wouldn't even argue when it is like I was raising all these different points, and the person that was, they had nothing to say, whether they agree with me, whether they disagree with me. They just
talk. No,
I'm not gonna say anything. Well, we can't talk at all.
We can't progress. We can't talk about anything. Then, like, what are we doing? And communication is the biggest problem we have. Like, why are these people killing each other? And like, and a lot of times it's because, oh, it's he said, she said. Oh, I thought you said that. Oh, I ain't with all that talking. Bro, talk like men. I'm talking about mostly men. Yeah. Talk, have a discussion, use your words. Kids want to hit things. Kids like to go to the extreme. No, men shouldn't do that. Adults should not do that. I think it's a form of immaturity. I'm not gonna say, oh, because it's a broken home, they didn't have fathers and all that stuff. Like, look, there have been a lot of women who have raised great men. Period. There have been. So I'm not gonna use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
It's the fact that no, you're being immature. You don't have the emotional intelligence that you should. And that was like we talked about in our last pod. Yeah. You know what I mean? We have to have that as men. And the media plays that against us. See, black women are outpacing black men, pretty much. And if you look at it, that kind of society's kind of helping them do it. Like they're kind of getting left back.
It's put in place by legislation.
Yeah, by legislation. And the thing about it, what they're not realizing is, look, if y'all get rid of y'all men, y'all have no protection. Period. That anytime a war, anytime a country invades another country or whatever, they're gonna kill the men first. They're gonna kill the strongest one first because they're the threat. You're not a threat as a woman. I mean, not to be sexist thing, but you're not a threat to them. Unless you're like an Amazonian tribe or something like that. Y'all just warriors, but y'all are nurturers.
But those are women that didn't have men.
They didn't have men, exactly. They didn't have, so they had no choice but to be that way.
Yeah.
But these.
So let me counter that point real quick.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
if there are a group of women we had an audience here of different women, what would they say? Well, we became Amazons, and what will stop us from doing it again?
Hold on, come again.
You said if you take away the men, they have no protection. And what would you say to women? Said, well, I'm fine with that. We've been Amazons before. What's going to stop us now?
I mean, you're gonna die. Like you're gonna die. Like I don't know how to put it. Like you're gonna eventually die. If you don't have any men around, like how you gonna reproduce? You're gonna be some old ass Amazons like throwing your trying to throw your damn sword and throw your damn arm out. You know what I mean? Like, damn, bro, we ain't got no more men. We need to have some baby batter mixing with these eggs, and it ain't happening because ain't no men around.
You said baby batter?
Yeah.
That's funny.
we need that, bro.
That's
like
funny.
we gotta keep it real. We need each other. I don't give a damn what nobody says. Like men and women, we need each other to coexist in this. To navigate this world, we need each other. We're like two lenses on the same pair of glasses. Like so they actually get the entire picture in its clarity, we need each other. Period.
I like that.
And I'm like, and then we got people telling, oh, you don't need no man and all this stuff. First of all, look, shawty, if you getting government assistance like that, and you getting all this stuff, yeah, you got a man. Yeah. He may not be in the house, but that's your man right there because you got to do what that man say.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Or you gonna get cut off.
Yep.
So it's this artificial, it's this artificial sense of empowerment. And no, you don't really have that. So you gotta keep it real with yourself. But like I said, it go back to the social media. It goes back to them the projections, of this is what a woman's supposed to do. This is what a woman's supposed to be. Like we got all this body dysmorphia right now, because that's really what it is. I see like everybody want to get the Brazilian butt lift. Everybody want to get the tummy tuck. All that stuff. Like, come on, baby. Like love yourself. Work towards that.
But when I talk to women and they say their reason for doing it is self-love and they're competing.
Absolutely.
But if a woman that has those traits naturally or via surgery is getting all the attention, what's to stop the woman that may have that confidence to say, damn, I got to do something to compete? What's going to stop that?
Honestly, I mean, I really can't. I can't say. Coming from I'm not a woman, so I really can't. I only can give my male perspective on it. But I would just say, like, your
what
character.
would you say? What would you say to men? What would you say to men that are flocking towards women that have all these surgeries?
Oh, I think they're just. I think in a way it's. Well, how can I put this? I think they're being very lustful. They're being very perceptive, very primitive. Like, oh, I'm looking at the surgery. I don't care if she got surgery, you know, that type of thing. Like, it's fake. You know what I mean? You wonder why she didn't do no damn flashbacks because because that ain't who she really is. Like that, who that?
Your bag.
Yeah, you feel me? So like,
and
dude,
you get 2 growth spurs, ain't it?
come on now. it's like, dude, I me personally, like, I've never been the type of guy who want to go for the 10. You know what I mean? But you got the fat ass, the big breasts. You know what I mean? Just a dime piece. Like, I never been into that type of woman anyway. Like, I would like, you know, a woman that's, you know, more like a normal woman. I mean, yeah, I like a nice body.
Don't show this part to your wife.
I mean, no. I mean, like, no, that ain't that. I love my wife. My wife is a beautiful chocolate black queen. But what I'm saying is, like,
emphasis on the chocolate.
Oh yeah, that's my thing right there, always.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna go for, like, you know, a Kim Kardashian type or something like that. Because a lot of guys, I realize now,
You mean a white woman that has black qualities?
Exactly. And it's like now you got black women who trying to get the white women, trying to, like, have their body like them. I'm like, what are you doing? They've been trying to be like you all this time when they trying to be like them. The pendulum has basically swung.
Well, that's where the good marketing comes in, because you see them you see where that got them, but you think if I light my skin up, if I take away some of these Negro qualities, some of these, and make it more European, I could maybe get a little closer to that.
That's true, and I ain't gonna lie, and it had changed some women's lives. Some women say, like, shit, since I got my body done, shit, my followers done went up. I got people who reaching out to me now trying to get me to model their stuff.
Yeah,
I understand that. Like, I mean, look, everybody look for a come up, some way to get out of their situation. You know,
I want to talk about come up. So,
okay,
we probably well, we gonna wrap this part.
Damn.
No, we good. We gonna wrap this part. It's gonna be a part 2. We're gonna go straight to audio on that one. Well, you liable to get me canceled every time you talking. Got to take my face off of it.
Come on, man.
But going back to into look for a come up, the PJ Washington, Brittany Renner situation. Are you?
Oh, that's bro.
Man shakes his head and put his head down.
Bro, I honestly, I can't feel bad for the dude, bro. I can't feel bad for him because in the day, this woman has already said who she was, what she was about. You just thought you can change her, pretty much.
You think that's what it was?
That was something to me because, look, she already said it already. She's like, they dumb. She already said athletes are dumb. If a woman tell you,
but if you don't hear a person say that, or it's kind of like the equivalent of like you dealing with a criminal, but you don't check their background.
Look, man. When you a NBA player, you know this. There are women who line up.
She was coming to his games. As the internet said, she was coming to his games while he was in college.
Yeah.
So and some people saying that she was grooming him, or like you basically like it's kind of like it's no different from an agent recruiting somebody like, oh, he's going to go top 10, or he's going to be a first rounder, or he's going to have XYZ slotted for this amount of money. If girls have 10 dudes and they are in certain circles, like the NBA circles or potential NBA circles, she's a recruiter. She's an agent.
Yeah.
So is that predatorial?
In a sense, yes, it is. But it's acceptable because, like, man, at the end of the day, women, like, okay, men have the power. Like, you don't have to have sex with this woman. Like, you don't have to. Like, she's not raping.
How do you tell that to a 19-year-old that's lacking? He all right, think about yourself at 19. You don't have the infrastructure and you've been coddled, so you probably don't have the skills to read a room like as a normal person.
This is true.
How do you coach yourself? How do you navigate that situation? That's where you have to have really good OGs and veterans to pull you to the side and say, hey, have fun, but don't do this.
I mean, dude, there's nothing new on the sun. Like, there's been
Facts.
Brittany Renner for forever. Like, we've been seeing the story play out for so long. Like, it's always been a guy who came out of high school, like he was gonna be the next guy and end up having a baby with a chick or whatever, and like she just got him for his money. Like, dude, you know this, so you gotta be accountable. Like, I'm big on accountability, bro. I'm not gonna say, oh, because you're 19. Like, dude, you know enough. I knew enough at 19.
So you're holding him accountable, but you're not really big on holding her accountable.
Look, she's doing what she said she was gonna do. Like, I mean, I'm like, she's doing what she said she was gonna do. So how can I get mad at her for a snake? A snake is gonna hiss. A snake is gonna bite. Yeah. That's what it's gonna do. So how can you get mad at a snake for being a snake? You know what I mean? Like that's on you, bro.
Scorpion and frog across the pond.
Come on now,
Yeah.
like, dude, you keep it real with yourself. Like, you know, you were trying to change her. I'm pretty sure you already knew already because, like, dude, she's popular. She has millions of followers. She's known.
But he only saw the videos of her twerking.
I don't agree with that, bro.
I'm playing. You know,
and the thing about it, why would you go for one like that? First of all, man, dudes try to go for women who actually have like motherly skills. Like, okay, can I be this woman? Yeah, you see how she looks, but how is she as a person? Like, how's her mentality? How does she process anger? You know what I mean? How is her nurturing skills? These are the things you need to know to be long term. Because a lot of times we just end up having check babies. People got check babies. Yeah, she good for 18 years. You know, as long as you making money, she making money. Cha-ching. And she can go and invest that money and make more money than you.
Yeah.
Even you can still be paying her child support.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, you a fish, and she got you on the hook. It's like she went fishing and she hooked you, bro.
Yeah.
Like for real, you had your mouth wide open. You weren't even trying to like, you know, avoid it.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. Like, I mean, dude, we they're irresponsible. But also, I think that, you know, we ought to have these guys who are
in those
coming
positions,
up in those positions, like they got to have somebody next to them. They got to have like agents. They got to have somebody. An advisor of some sort, like not necessarily an agent, but an advisor.
With athletes. I mean, I think this is just only a story that hit the internet in such a way because he's an NBA player and she's a known, like she has a real big following. Because if you say the lesser known Instagram girl that's getting hit and then gets pregnant, or the porn star, or just say the girl that just gets pregnant and didn't have the most. She didn't have the most honest approach about or intentions about what she was doing there. It's a non-story. You have two people. It makes it a story. It's kind of like if someone dies on the news, but they're unattractive, it's not going to be in the news.
Right, that's true.
But if you have someone that's a good-looking person, if it bleeds, it leads. That's pretty much the story.
Absolutely.
Well, I kind of want to segue into the story about Dr. Dre's daughter from that. But I want to go back to Nick though. So, with him, there are a few factors that I think has warped his mind into. I don't want to say warped it because that's a more aggressive word, but has put him in a position where he's taking a different philosophy from what we would consider normal. And with that being said, two things that he's actually openly admitted was he's been famous for such a long time, and you don't know who has what intentions when they're around you, and you've been Nick Cannon since you were, 16, 17?
Yeah, child, pretty much.
It's a hard thing to deal with. This goes back to what you're talking about as NBA players. They have been coddled. Most superstars or just all-stars or even a non-starter, they've been coddled because they've been the man in most scenarios until they get to college, or if they go to college, or to the league or whatever. So it's hard for them to adjust to what is normal. That's where, and then also you have money, and you have a no way of understanding who wants what from you.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, well, I'm going to lean into it, and I'm going to be this person. The number two factor I would say was his bouts with lupus. Right. People that have a lot of near-death experiences, I've known a few cancer survivors, they have a new leash on life, and they honestly take more risk. And then they go against the grain of what everyone considers to be normal. Now, sometimes it leads to a streak of brilliance, and then sometimes it leads to a person that's a lot more reckless and throwing caution to the wind. Now, when you factor that in, he talks about, I'm going to be at all the practices, and I'm going to be there for all these different things, and he has the money and the means. So money isn't necessarily an issue. You're more so talking about being an active father in each child's life. Yeah. How active can you be with a person when you talking about a person that has all these different jobs? He's always getting his blood tested because of his ailment. And then you have the aspect of children have different needs. Right. And, you have different households. And I don't even think he says he's a polygamist, but he's basically made his own village. Right. In different tents.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm fine with that, making your own village, but like, I think it's just inconsiderate of the children themselves. Like, that's more about you having kids because of something that you're going through. Yeah. Like, excuse me. When you have children, like, they're gonna see they're gonna grow up and they're gonna see other families. You know what I mean? They're gonna see the dad and the mom who's always together.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so if you want your child to actually be engaged and actually be how can I put it? If you want your child to develop properly, you're gonna need to be there more often than not.
In a balance.
In a balanced household.
And that's wherever I would like to use the word balance, because when you talk about families, you talk about 2-parent households, whether it's a boy or a girl or whatever, or a non-binary person that hasn't figured out what they are yet. If you have 2 parents, I mean, just the work it requires to run a household and provide for it, and then also support and give that attention to the child, it's so much easier when you have 2 people doing it.
Absolutely.
And that's really what it comes down to the balance. And then you also have the different type of energies, whereas I don't care if it's the same sex relationship or man and female, there's going to be a more maternal one, more masculine energy versus a more feminine energy. And then you have like 2 different philosophies of people working in your corner.
Right. I agree with that. And
that's where the balance comes from.
Got to have the balance. Like I said, that's why the whole compound, it makes more sense to me. I mean, you have the means to be able to have all of them. I mean, because obviously you're more successful than all the kids' moms.
You saying you wouldn't have a problem if he was an active polygamist and like had everyone together in the same place?
He kept it real. Yeah, exactly.
But he's just going house to house and basically
sprinkling everywhere. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna splash and you, I'm splash here, I'm gonna splash here.
Right. It's irresponsible. Okay. It's irresponsible and it's selfish, because like at the end of the day, like all your kids are not gonna be able to get the same amount from you. Like they're not.
Yeah.
Like it'd be different. Like, okay, if you know all your kids was under these roofs that are in this enclosed area, you know, I can go see my kids when I want to, because I know they all here.
Right.
They're all here. I can go see them. I can make time to be everything. Obviously, you're not gonna be able to make every single thing probably, but the likelihood of you making the majority of it is higher if you don't have to fly across the country. Right. I mean, I'm not telling nobody like what do their money or with their kids. But
no, you're speaking more so in regards to the same way you were talking about the kids in the birth certificate situation, and or even having surgeries too young or the hormone treatments. Is you have to be a responsible adult for the child that's not an adult yet.
Right.
And that I don't think anything is wrong with that necessarily.
Not at all.
Now I want to segue into the Dr. Dre situation with his daughter. Now I thought this was a daughter that he had with his wife, but it's a child that he had with another woman. Okay. And apparently he has taken care of her in the past, but you know she's 38 and she's a mother herself. And apparently she has been talking about him in the press, and that's when he ended up cutting her off. Is that her fault? Or is or you think it's oh, you got too much money, let her be out there like that?
Look, man. Look, if you're 38 years old, you should have been doing something with when he was taking care of you. You should have been making some plans of a way to take care of yourself. Period. Like, because you never know when.
Or it goes back to where's your man?
Exactly. Or where's your man? But think about it, you're 38 and you're a mother yourself. You can't try to guilt trip this man until I give you something. When you went against the grain, you went against the grain. That's how it usually works in family. Like, look, you go against the family, you get cut off. That's just how it goes. Yeah. And I can't blame him for that, because, look, this man's been providing for you all the time. You're just not coming out at 38 now. You're 38 now, and you're just not coming out. Now you need something at 38. You're a damn near middle age. So it's not Dr. Dre's fault. My thing is, you've had plenty of time. You've had at least, from 18 to 38. That's 20 years. You had at least 20 years to, like, you know,
get yourself together, or period. Get married and
you've had the resources all that time. I mean, you've had the resources.
But also, this kind of speaks to I don't know if this would be true, but it just kind of just dawned on my mind when we're talking about a woman that's 38 that has children, and you get cut off once you go against the grain. I think there has to be some sort of problem. Have you ever dated somebody that had like a very successful father, or like somebody that has a very powerful position, like say a politician or something like that? Not you per se, but I'm saying I've heard these different stories, but and it makes it more challenging. Bend are you good? It makes it more challenging to date someone in that sense, because the father has so much power and influence, and sometimes money and all of it. It also can make you a brat. It can make you,
entitled.
Right. Where like, well, I don't need no man because I got my daddy. Yeah. And if you say 20 years of that, and then you say something slick, like you said, go against the grain to get you cut off. Yeah. It's now you stuck.
And the thing about it also too is like, she's gonna want a man who can provide like somewhat what she's getting used to.
Like, you talking about you better get the 1%, but now you're going to find the 1%, and it goes back to what? Oh man, I didn't want to go into Kevin Samuels, but now you're trying to find the 1% because no, Dre's a billionaire, so you're talking about a 1% or less than a 1%er, but you're 38 with I don't know how many children.
Yeah, your options are limited.
Very. Like, how do you just go get one of those? Like, it's not necessarily growing on trees, and then what you're competing against is like, what do you? Right.
Yeah.
Now that's something totally different, and then you also have shown them that you can't hold it down. You can't hold your tongue. You slick with your mouth.
Exactly.
And that's the last thing a man with that type of money and means and access has.
Yeah, and a man going to cooperation. Like if you went against the grain with your father, who basically was taking care of you your whole life. Then,
and I like beats. You ain't got nothing.
Yeah, come on now.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't. He made Dre Day. What you made?
Bro, come on, the Chronic. Like, it's just it was Dr. Dre, and I'm pretty sure I don't know how he was treating her growing up. I don't know the background like that.
We don't know because we're not in their lives.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's like at the end of the day, you're just now coming out at this late stage.
Then that's what makes it more fishy because.
Yeah. Now all of a sudden, he's not taking care of me. And he's trying to basically do the whole societal thing, I feel, trying to get the public to put pressure on Dr. Dre. The thing about it is, like, Dre doesn't need he's not going to fold to that type of stuff. Because
he's going to laugh at that. I think anybody would laugh at that. And I'm honestly, I think I'm more sensitive than most people, but... You talking about people that live in a certain bubble, and that's the least amount of criticism. You talking about he just got a brain aneurysm, and he's in the middle of a bitter divorce. Like, what are you talking about here?
Nah.
You're not stressing me.
Yeah, period. Why should you? I mean, dude, it's like he's been taking care of you. So I said I'm not gonna blame him. I think it's all falls on her pretty much. Unless it all falls on her. I gotta be accountable. Like man, woman. I mean, she's a woman. Yes, but at the same time, like, dude, look,
fully formed woman.
Yeah. Look what you were born into.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because you're 38. Well, Dr. Dre. Well, I don't think. Okay, so I don't think he necessarily was rich when she was born. No,
but it wasn't far off.
But it wasn't that far off though. You were still a child when he became like a millionaire, pretty much. So yeah, for you to come out all this time later, it's fishy to me. So I don't agree with that at all. And people got to realize that. You're not entitled to that. Like, yeah, you're a child, but once you're adult, like once you're grown and he took care of your whole life, you're not entitled to this man's money. Just not.
I mean, that's where in a perfect world, you're supposed to leave the household and go make your own family.
Yeah. You're supposed to, but now we want people to stay at home. And we want them like they want to stay up on in the nest egg or whatever the nest.
I'm sorry. I would honestly. I'm thinking about it now. I would like to know her dating history. And how, what type of pressure you must feel as a dude if you're dating the daughter of Dr. Dre?
Dude, first, how can you compare? Like, you gotta be a 1% to even be comfortable. Like, I mean,
but if you're dating somebody your age, you bring another 18-year-old to the house, and you're like, oh, damn. I'm competing with this, or like let's put it a little more advanced. Let's say 24, 25. You're out of high school, you're past graduation of college if you went to college, and you're fully formed as an adult. I mean, you still have some growing to do, but at the same time, you're in the midst of what you're gonna be for the most part as an adult, and you walk into a situation like, oh, your dad is what? Oh, okay. Well, I don't make that. Like, even if you make 100,000, that's still chump change compared to that. You know,
that's a vacation for
that's a vacation. That's a weekend for them. Yeah. Like, and it's just, how do you date that?
I mean, confidence is everything. Because
I'm saying for her. I mean, because she's not necessarily even in a situation where she probably. It's kind of like a person that, like, if you date a chick that used to, like, say we're both working men, and we date a girl that used to date a drug dealer. They had access to money until he either got locked up or he got killed. She starts comparing like, oh, I ain't have to. It's a lot of red flags here, and then like giving you all this like back talk and stuff, and it's like, well, okay, well, why aren't you with him anymore?
Right. I mean, the thing about it is like, People get used to a certain type. Everybody has a type. Everybody has a type that they're into. You know.
I will say this: it's hard to go to another downgrade your lifestyle if that's what you've been exposed to.
Yeah, and that's what that's the norm for you. Like, yeah, you're not gonna want to make any downward move. It's either gonna be lateral or it's gonna be upward. Like, period. I understand somebody not wanting it, but at the same time though, you have to self-evaluate. You have to know who am I? What do I bring to the table?
Yeah,
you know. So like, what will make a man want to give me? Well, how do I deserve it? So like, you got to think about this stuff. I mean,
no, I'm laughing because I'm so petty, but I'm thinking like, what is her marketing? Her way of marketing herself was I'm one step closer to Dre. Like, it's dudes that was trying to get on. Or they maybe not even necessarily be artists, but maybe they're a producer. Maybe they're in creativity space that they want to do something with movies. They that's access. It just goes. It's no different from what we're talking about the Brittany Renner and talking with the basketball players. Like, it's all predatory because they know what you're close to, either what you have or what you're close to.
Right. Yeah. Somebody listen to they come looking like, oh, this is my way in. You know what I mean? This is my way in. I understand people all have ulterior motives.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to vet people. Like when you're in a certain position or you come from a certain lineage, you have to vet people. You can't you're not just anybody.
Right.
You're not just anybody, so you can't just date like you're just anybody. I mean, you gotta be more responsible. Yeah. You may not be like, damn, I wish I could just go out and just walk around like kind of like Sasha Obama. Or whatever, like the Obama girls. They can't just go out and just...
You talk about pressure. What type of pressure are you going to have when you like, hey, I like you. You like me too.
That's your dad?
The first black man to be president.
Damn.
Well, I ain't going to be president. I got a construction business. You can't have a construction business and sell shoes.
Come on now.
You can't... You know what I'm saying? You got to be a contractor or something to the point where some type of entrepreneur or like the same equivalent. You got to be a senator or like something like that in politics, and maybe just a something as prestigious as a doctor or a lawyer.
Right. Something influential. Something.
Yeah.
Influential.
You can't just have money.
No,
you can't just have money. Like, you would just have to be the influence and like the prestige around your name as well.
Right.
And then you're also gonna get. Oh man, can you imagine being vetted by the Secret Service?
Oh my goodness, bro. The pressure.
And you like, man, all this for some cat.
Yeah.
And what if you?
Come on.
Listen. Man, you gotta be there. Like, what if you get it and you're like, what's like 6 months in, you don't like it?
Yeah, I'm on the call, break this off. Like,
you didn't got vetted by the Secret Service. You got somebody on you going. Like, can you imagine somebody is like going through your text message? Like, what would you say will give you more anxiety? Somebody going through you text messages for the last 10 years or checking your internet history for the last 10 years?
Internet history.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably say internet history, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, internet history.
Me too.
You stumbled onto some wild things, you know.
No, but even that, just think they got somebody going through all of it.
Yeah.
That's pressure.
That's a lot of pressure.
That's
man.
pressure.
I'd be nervous. Like, bro, don't even do that. Don't even.
Just the thought, right? It's like you like,
like the little meme.
That ain't me, but I can't give you context because you just open up my pages and like, well, no, you spend a lot of time on the site. What you doing? I was doing research for a paper. Like, they don't know that.
Right? They don't know it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta think about, okay, you were a different person. Like 10 years is a long time.
Yeah.
Like, your mentality is probably not gonna be the same now.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be if you have accountability and you are making
you've grown as an individual. Yeah, it shouldn't be the same. So like, some things you'll probably be ashamed of. I'm pretty sure. Like that's why social media is so crazy because people think about like
memories.
Twitter. Like
like the memories of flashbacks 5 years ago, 7 years ago.
They pop up like, damn, I said that shit. Damn, that was wild. That was kind of harsh. I probably wouldn't say this shit right now. Like, I want to delete.
Oh, that's nice with you being hard with something like that. That's kind of harsh. Like, damn, I was stupid. And then like when you say something you thought you were being deep, you like, damn,
that's another stupid. Bro, that wasn't nobody react to it. That shit was stupid.
Stupid.
I thought I was being deep.
Oh, speaking of being stupid, I ran this conversation. It's pretty fun. What is a word that you learned from your family that is totally wrong, or like a weird saying in the family? Do you have one like that? And while you think about it, I give you an example of one of mine. So I remember I was going out into the field house when we come back from practice or something, and somebody like hit me in the back of the head or something, or like somebody did something that like pinched me, or like like teenagers play, did something like, man, that hurt it. And then my coach, I heard my coach say, coach always got a mouthful of gum. Damn it, Robinson, I thought you were smart, son. And I'm like, I'm over here trying to figure out what I say wrong. because I didn't know. And then I was like, so I actually had the presence of mind to say, what did I say wrong? And he said, it's hurt, son. I said, what did I say? You said hurt it. It's not hurt it. It's hurt.
No such thing.
I didn't know, because everyone in the family says hurt it. But if you put me in an English test or like a standardized test, I know how to say it properly in the context of writing.
Right.
But phonetically, I've learned how to say it based on what I've been hearing in the household.
Right. Okay. I see. I follow you. So see, one thing like I've heard, I just common people say, "Mo better."
I never heard that.
I never heard them say that. Oh, that's even more better. Like, you know, something
yeah. I heard it.
It's just better. It's no more better.
That's even more better.
Yeah, this is more better than that. Like, no.
Yeah. Oh, you seen part 2? It's even more better than the first one. They got old. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Like, people say that back home. You know what I mean? But I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. So I guess it's
that's the good part about having regional conversations and family conversations, and then like slang and like it's all sublanguages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. So. It's different. Like I feel like differences make the world go round. You know,
absolutely.
Like, we gotta have differences. If everybody was the same, everybody agreed on everything, it'd be boring.
It's like everywhere. It's like kids in standardized like uniforms.
I hate that. I hate it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like uniforms. I mean, my city just changed uniform like a couple years ago.
Oh man, I got to put that on the topic list. Yeah, we got to go in on that.
I don't like that. I mean, you know, I see, you know, I see the pros and the cons of it, because okay, everybody in uniform, nobody can make fun of somebody for having less and everything. But at the same time, though, I'm big on individuality. You know, and we all should just be conformed. That's why like when I was a Mormon, I kind of felt a little weird looking at how we all had to dress the same way. All the missionaries had to dress the exact same way. I'm like, that didn't make sense to me. Even when I came, I'm like, why y'all got dressed the same way? They're like, oh, you know, because, you know, so we all are one. But it screams conformity to me. You know, and as being an American, we're rebels by nature. Like, it's just what it is. It's part of being American.
It started by being
by being a rebel. Yeah. You know what I mean? Being rebellious, going against the grain. So, yeah, if I don't agree with it, like, no, I just don't. I never agree with that. But at the same time, it like I said, it's pros and cons to it. It's definitely pros and cons. I know back home, you know, they were big on, like, gangs and everything. They wouldn't let you, like, you couldn't wear certain shoes. Like, your shoes had like they couldn't have like red or blue laces. They only could have like black, white, or brown.
Oh yeah,
you know,
because
stuff
of subtle things. A couple fights. And
fights and everything like that. Like, it's just like, dude, it's a color. It's a color, literally.
Yeah, I mean, but you're saying it from a person that I'm assuming that you weren't banging in the third period. but it's kind of like adults. It's like when we have policies and rules set in place, it's usually in response to something, and maybe other people get caught up in the wash, and some people get punished unjustifiably, but they're really trying to put a Band-Aid on something else that's bleeding. Yeah. And that's kind of what it comes down to. But I think that's another conversation to have another day. But we can definitely wrap on today's episode.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Great pod, bro.
Next time we come in, I gotta have somebody here so you can argue.
Yeah,
I need to find a gay black person. I want to find a trans person, or just somebody to come and give a different perspective. Because just because, you know, we don't have all the answers, we just have our opinions, and then the facts that we've run across via research or different pockets of the internet, or just different things that we've come to know we've come to know as normal, quote unquote normal.
Right. What is normal?
Yeah. Right. That's why I want some more diversification here. So we definitely gonna have you come back on, and we are gonna have to do this another time, man. It's great.
So
hey man, you got anything last thing you want to say?
Nah, other than just think for yourself.
Think for yourself. With that being said, this has been another episode of Live from the Living Room podcast. Whether you agree, disagree, leave a comment. Let's learn from each other, and come back for another time. Thank you for your energy. Peace.